Hey guys, what's up? It's me, MTG Scale, here with another video for you today. And in today's video, which is hashtag Walker Wednesday, which I believe is a clever title I came up with, and it's also Hump Day, matter of fact, and so happy Hump Day. And let's start with our Planeswalkers that are staying with us after rotation. Those are the only Planeswalkers I'm going to do. So let's start with Jace, Architect of Thought. Now I'm going to talk about these different Planeswalkers and everything. So we first off have Jace for four converted mana cost with 2 colorless and 2 blue, and it has +1 until end of turn. Whenever a creature an opponent controls attacks, it gets -1/-0 until end of turn. So I mean that's not that great, but not that great of a +1. And its -2 is reveal the top 3 cards of your library. An opponent separates those cards into 2 piles and put one of the piles into your hand and the other on the bottom of your library in any order. Now that's not bad, because you get some card draws right there, and so that's always useful. I mean, it's not amazing, but you know, it's doable. And then -8, -8 for each player. Search that player's library for a non-land card and exile it. Then that player shuffles his or her library. You may cast those cards without paying their mana cost. That's pretty good. I mean, man. If you can cast it without paying their mana, that's really good. But you're not usually going to get your -8 off. But who knows? In a control deck, you might be able to. But yeah, overall, you're really using this for, I guess, just its -2. Reveal the top 3 cards of your library. The opponent separates its card in 2 piles, put 1 pile. That's really what you're using it for. I mean, even though your opponent gets to choose, it's nice to have card draws, and Planeswalkers are really helpful because your opponents might go after your Planeswalkers, and that damage that would be dealt to you is going to a Planeswalker instead. So that's kind of nice. Braska the Unseen is our next Planeswalker from Return to Ravnica, along with Jace. Okay, with a converted mana cost of 5, with 3 colorless, 1 swamp, and 1 forest. Now, Braska starts out with a loyalty of 5, and her +1 is until your next turn. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to Braska the Unseen, destroy that creature. So that's nice for its protection costs. I mean, if your opponent has just some weak little cards out there, that's nothing. But if, say, they have Thundermaw Hellkite out for some reason, they're just gonna bash into Braska. Bye bye Thundermaw. Even though Thundermaw's not staying around after Theros, so that really made no sense for me to use Thundermaw as an example. Moving on. -3, destroy target non-lane permanent. Very good. It's removal right there, and you can use that right when it enters the battlefield. What's nice about that is that that'll get rid of anything, whether it's artifacts, creatures, just anything. -7, put 3 1/1 black assassin creature tokens onto the battlefield with, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game. So that's really cool if you can get it off. I've seen people get Braskas out, and I've seen them use the -7, but they're just 1/1s, and they're extremely easy to take care of. So it's not huge, but it's really nice for Braska's -3. But if you can get the -7 out, that's nice to have Death Touch, late game Death Touch with just little simple 1/1s, and your opponent. The good thing about the Death Touch is that your opponents are going to block them every time, because if they don't block, they lose the game. So that's pretty cool. I guess I need to go back. Jace, the Architect of Thought, he's playable. I would rate him as playable. Same with Braska. They both haven't necessarily... mainly Braska hasn't really found any home yet in a deck, but there is a lot of potential for Braska in her Golgari colors. Domi Rod, converted mana cost of 3, 1 colorless, 1 red, in a forest with $25, because we all know what deck this he's playing. Red-green. Its loyalty is 3, and for a casting cost of 1 colorless, 1 red, and a green. And its +1 is look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. So that's always nice. It's nice to get creatures in these red-green aggressive decks. So that's a really nice +1. Very good. Its -2 is target creature you control fights another target creature. That's really good because you'll have a lot of creatures out in red-green aggro, and so you have something big out. Like, again, I'll use Thundermaw Hellkite as an example because I know he sees a lot of play in these red-green aggressive decks. You can just use him to bash into anything, any creature, anything. And then it's -7, which surprisingly almost never gets to go off. You get well, not surprisingly, but it never really goes off. You get an emblem with creatures you control have Devil Strike, Trample, Hexproof, and Haste. So basically you get that off, you win the game. Domi Rod is very, very playable, and it already has seen lots of play. Now I'm going to go over the M14 Planeswalkers and why they suck. A Johnny Caller of the Pride for 3 converted mana cost, 1 colorless and 2 white, with 4 loyalty. Its +1 is put a 1/1 counter up to 1 target creature. I mean, that's nice. It's not huge, but I mean that's kind of nice as just a +1. And its -3 is a big thing. Target creature gains flying and double strike end of turn. That's like Boros Charm in Planeswalker form. So that's really nice if you can have, I don't know, cards like Obsidian Ghost Council. If you have something like that, then swing for 10. Thundermaw Hellkite, you play this. I mean, dang. Or even Archangel of Thune. I mean, anything. Alright, next is Groot, Caller of the Beast. Now, like always, Groot is always very good for some reason in Standard. Not for some reason, it's just always good. For a 6 converted mana cost, which isn't hard to hit for a mono green deck, which this sees play in mono green. For 4 colorless and 2 forests, and its +1 is reveal the top 5 cards of your library, and put all creature cards revealed this way into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So what do you want in green deck? You want creatures. I mean, that's crazy +1. That's very good. -3, you may put a green creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. Now, usually, a lot of the times, if you have, say, the Craterhoof Behemoth in your hand, you're gonna play Garruk and just -3 to get Craterhoof Behemoth out, because that's how good it is. And -7 is you get an emblem with whenever you cast a creature spell, you may search your library card for a creature card and put that onto the battlefield. Then shuffle. Usually you're not going to get -7 off, but if you do, you have so much advantage, creature advantage. You're going to win the game by a landslide. Jace Memory Adept. Never seen play. Probably never will, honestly. They reprinted this from M13. I'm not sure why they printed like all of the exact same Planeswalkers except Groot, but whatever, because most of them suck, to be honest. I mean, don't want to offend anybody, but they suck. Jace Memory Adept with a 5 converted mana cost for 3 colorless and 2 blue. +1. Well, it starts out with 4 loyalty. +1. Draw a card. Then target player puts the top card of his or her library into his or her graveyard. I mean, I guess that's okay if we're just drawing. And if you're playing mill, this card is built for mill because of its 0. Target player puts the top 10 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. Now that's why this card was made, just to 0 everything. I mean, I don't know why it would use +1 unless you're not playing mill for some reason. And then -7, any number of target players each draw 20 cards. Now that's never going to go off. I mean, I've never seen that ever go off, and I've been playing Standard a long time. I've played a lot of decks with him involved. Next is Elspeth, Sun's Champion, this is going to be one of the new Theros cards. Okay, I'm going to try to start talking a little bit faster since I'm going to start running out of time. Elspeth, Sun Champion for 6 converted mana cost, which is pretty expensive for this white, and it's for colorless, 2 white. +1 with starting at 4 loyalty, +1, put 3 1/1 white soldier creature tokens onto the battlefield. Sorry, that's a very nice +1 because Planeswalkers that are good can protect themselves with their +1. And this is why, I mean, creatures to block. Or even attack if you need to, but you'll be using 1/1s to just chump block. -3, destroy all creatures with power 4 or greater. That is amazing, especially against aggressive decks. That just destroys them. And then -7, you get an emblem with creatures you control, get +2/2 in flying. I mean, I guess that's an okay, since they get flying. I mean, if it was just the 2/2, that'd be probably the worst ultimate I've ever seen. But yeah, but Elspeth overall is okay. It's not as amazing everyone's thinking it would be, but it's not completely bad. Because it's +1, and then especially it's +3, which is basically, in a way, that's pretty much Supreme Verdict. Like, Supreme Verdict of the Verdict for the smaller and medium-sized creatures. Next is RaZarek, the huge card that everyone thought was going to be so good, pre-ordering for like $35, and then now it's sitting at like, what, 9, 10? Converted mana cost of 4 with 4 loyalty, 2 colorless, a blue and a red. Tap target for its +1, tap target permanent, then untap another target permanent. That's pretty nice, because you can untap your land, and you can tap their creature so they can't block. That's very good. And its -2 is a lightning bolt, and that's amazing. RaZarek deals 3 damage to target creature or player. That's a very good -2. Great removal. -7, You usually don't get it off, but if you do, hopefully you don't have my luck and flip all tails. You'll understand what I'm talking about in a second. Flip 5 coins. Take an extra turn after this one for each coin that comes up heads. I mean, I guess if you get this off, you should win the game pretty much. I mean, that's just crazy. To take, I mean, 5 coins. I imagine just getting 3 of them heads up. That's just 3 turns, and I mean, that's crazy. Very good. I mean, but he's not worth anything because he hasn't found a deck yet. But I mean, he's very, very good. Gideon, Champion of Justice, the card that no one ever talks about or does anything with. The card that was just there to be made. Gideon, Champion of Justice, 4 loyalty, 4 converted mana cost of 2 colorless and 2 white. Now, its +1 is put a loyalty counter on Gideon, Champion of Justice for each creature target opponent controls. I mean, so you could be putting anywhere from 2 loyalties to like what, 4 loyalties, I guess. Not crazy. 0. Until end of turn, Gideon becomes an indestructible human soldier creature token with power and toughness, each equal to the number of loyalty counters on him. He's still a planeswalker and prevent all damage that would be dealt to him this turn. Now his 0 is nice if you have some decent loyalties on him, but he still doesn't see any play. And it's -15, which is terrible. Exile all other permanent. Well, I guess it's not terrible. Because, okay, well, I mean, but you're not going to get it off because Gideon sucks, and then that destroys your own lands. I mean, that gets rid of everything. And then all you have is Gideon to... I mean, I guess Gideon could just start swinging in with his 0. But you'd have to be at 16 or above, because you're not going to use this -15 and... Oh, wait, I forgot. It's all other permanent, so it gets everything but him. Alright, and so then the next Planeswalker is the one I forgot to bring up, and I really apologize about that. I don't mean this to be an inconvenience. It'll be the new Theros Planeswalker. Not Elspeth, it's the other one. Xenagos, the Reveler, starting at $40! I cannot believe this. Man, this set is worth... It's just value. I mean, Modern Masters, now they're Standard Masters pretty much. I mean, dang. For his +1, it's add X. Okay, his loyalty is 3, with the casting converted mana cost of 4, 2 colorless, 1 red and a green. For +1, add X mana in any combination of red and green or green to your mana pool, where X is the number of creatures you control. In red-green aggressive, you're going to have a lot of creatures. So basically, you're casting him for free if you're really getting approximately 4 creatures back. I mean, dang. And then for 0, put a 2/2 red and green Satyr creature token with haste onto the battlefield. Because, you know, red-green needs more haste. And his 0 is nice. That can be used to protect him. But, okay, yeah, I was about to say, if that was in minus, that would have been bad. But it's just a 0, so it's not hurting him. And -X, exile the top 7 cards of your library. Now, that's already kind of weird. You may put any number of creatures and or land cards from among them onto the battlefield. That is the exact type of thing red-green, like, needs. Well, not needs. That's like exactly what it's all about, getting creatures. Getting creatures. And getting more creatures. And land. I mean, land's always nice. I mean, usually red-green, you don't need a whole bunch of land. But, I mean, this is just crazy good Planeswalker. Yeah, I just talked really fast for a really long time. Lots of information. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed. I spent a lot of time thinking about these and writing up kind of what I was going to say yesterday and the day before, preparing for Walker Wednesday, which is also my birthday today. September 4th, yay! Alright, so I won't be making another Walker Wednesday for a while because there's no new Planeswalkers to talk about. But whenever a new set is rolling around the corner, I probably will be making another hashtag Walker Wednesday. I still like that title. I don't know why I think it's so funny. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed hashtag Walker Wednesday. See you guys. Have an awesome day.